Before we get into the Q&A, let me quickly thank everyone for your feedback on the Darkin theory. I am so glad it is successful not only inside our community, but also among people who aren't into the story. So again, thank you so much. Hello everyone and welcome to another Q&A. The last one we have done was about 5 months ago, so I see it fitting that we do one every half a year-ish. So let's do another one. You had the option to send me questions wherever you can find me, on Discord, Twitter, Facebook, just anywhere really. So let's get right on the first one. Are Demacians actually the good guys? The easy answer would be no. Demacia and Noxus are two sides that fight each other, but neither of them really have good or bad intentions. Or at least we don't know what Noxus is really all about. Now with Swain being teased, there are some hints that he is not actually the bad guy. It seems like he knows that there is evil, and he is aware that it is inside Noxus, so he's just looking for a way to clear it out somehow. So you can't really say if Demacians are good or bad, because they are just trying to survive, but they are killing anything with magic, and that's not really a healthy mind. Was Twitch made in the same way as Warwick? No, I would say that Twitch was made in the same way as CZECH. CZECH basically got formed after a bunch of blob blopped on the ground, and the blob became bigger blob, and that blob suddenly became sentient. Twitch is something similar. He became what he is because these blobs mutated him. No one consciously made him, he wasn't an experiment, but he was a side product. What do you think of Aurelian Sol when Zoe first came out? Zoe has said, he said that he created the stars, and humans believed him. Is he telling the truth, or is there another celestial that have created the stars? This is a bit tricky. There might be some truth in what Zoe said. Maybe Aurelian Sol really isn't the one who created the stars. Then again, Zoe is the aspect of Twilight, and the aspect of Twilight is a known liar. The Twilight God is basically trying to manipulate your mind for its own amusement. So, if I had to decide if I wanna trust Aurelian Sol or Zoe, even though his ego is way bigger, I would go with Aurelian Sol. So no, I don't think there was another celestial who created the stars, but maybe there was something more to what Aurelian Sol did to create them. How many hours of sleep does a 19-year-old human informatics student need? The scientific answer is 6, but I would go with 7. Why do you like lore? What got you into it? Ironically, I hate reading, so what got me into the stories and the lore is video games. Video games like the Mass Effect series and World of Warcraft had vast worlds, and I always loved just looking into the smaller stories. Then I got into League and I learned that League of Legends also has a big world, but at the time their world was expanded through the Journal of Justice. Now that is not a thing anymore, so after they recreated the world, that was a pretty much clean sheet for me. Suddenly there were new characters, new places, and in general it was just really interesting. I also noticed that there wasn't really anyone covering it on YouTube, so I thought, you know what, maybe I can do that. What champion do you believe has the best snow or Christmas themed skin? That's an easy question because the answer is Fiddlesticks. Or maybe even Gangplank. I am one of the OG owners of the toy Gangplank. And let me tell you a story about how it worked in 2012. Back then, when these holiday skins were released, you could only get it that year. The next year there was a new set of skins and you couldn't get those skins released before. So, for about 2 years, the toy Gangplank was an incredibly rare skin and I loved using it. Then Riot thought, you know, maybe uniqueness isn't such a good trait in League of Legends, so let's just remove it and let's give Gangplank to everyone. And ever since that day, I was really mad. Don't get me started on Championship Ribbon. Do you laugh when you hear voice acting sent in by others? No, I really appreciate anyone who's sending in any voice acting at all. It doesn't matter if you're good or if you're bad, I just appreciate that you even wanted to be part of this. Now sometimes there are really good voice actors, but they are held back by their microphones, and that's not something you can really deal with. But still, I never laugh at anyone, I really appreciate it. What is your opinion on the upcoming war against the Finnish Reptiles? I believe that a reasonable way of dealing with the Finnish Reptiles will be finally decimate those damn Czech kangaroos and use them as meat shields during battle? What's your opinion on this? No, the Czech kangaroos are way too obvious, the Finnish has planned this for years, they would predict it. We must go for their saunas? So I open up Q&A and I try to answer some questions and this is what I get. Reptiles, kangaroos and the Finnish. Will you ever make some video in Czech? No, because I don't want to make videos that not everyone can watch. You know, that would feel like I'm discriminating people and I don't like that. Are you currently watching anime or are you planning to watch a particular series? Yes, I am planning to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm not a huge anime fan, but when I see that people like something, I generally try to watch it, because if they say it's good, it's probably really good. That's how I got on the Death Note. I saw it this year, and I really liked it. Can you show us your meme collection? Yeah, here it goes! How are you this holiday season? You know what, surprisingly, I'm not sick. I mean, I was sick about 3 weeks ago, but surprisingly, even though the holiday is in full going, I am not sick right now, so let's hope that I won't become sick in the next 2 days. I look like I got shot by a blow dart. Which archetype is missing in League? You know, I always looked at League of Legends like Pokemon. You really needed to collect every single archetype there is. And the only thing that I am missing as a champion, not as a skin but as a champion, is a monk-like celestial battle mage. You know, someone with a staff who looks like the god Fist Lee Sin, who's a monk, not a Jax, not a Lee Sin, something in between. And he's a celestial, you know, like a god, titan, something like that. What is your favorite game soundtrack? Now that is hard, because a lot of you know that I use a lot of video game soundtracks in my videos. So I gotta go with what everyone says, and that is gonna be Megalovania. If you mean a soundtrack from an entire game, that would definitely be the Rabbids thingy with Mario that got released. I don't know what it's called. If you had to pick of one champion to be removed from the game, who would be? And no, you can't say Teemo, Yasuo, Raven Yi or Morgana, and oh, you can't say none. Well, in that case, I wouldn't say any of these either way, because I know that a lot of them has weaknesses. But what I would say is Malphite. You know, when you look at Malphite, who is he really? Because Malphite as a character doesn't exist. His abilities are the most boring, outdated abilities I have seen in the entire game. And, on top of that, if you really say Malphite, what do you think of? You think of his ultimate. You don't think of anything else. He's not a rock giant or a rock titan, he's not a mountain, he's his ultimate. That's all he is, that's all he ever was, that's all he ever will be. Unless he gets reworked. And his rework will come in a really long time. So until then, Malphite is his ultimate. And don't tell me you imagine anything else. If you see someone pick Malphite, all you see is him rushing into the enemy team, blowing up, knocking everyone up. That's all he does. That's all he will ever do. And I will end my statement there. What got you into gaming and why exactly League? That is a hard question, because I remember one of the first games was a Maniac Miner. That was a really old DOS game. But I also remember my father playing Duke Nukem and Doom, stuff like that. So, you know, I was a gamer from the very beginning, really. And I got into League because back in my StarCraft days, I was playing the Dota version of the custom map. And I was playing it with my friends, and one of my friends told me, hey, you know that there is a game that is actually just this game mode. And I was like, I like this game mode, let's try it. Bada bing, bada boom, that was actually League. So that's how I got into League of Legends. Do you have work besides of being YouTuber? No, because I did YouTube for 7 years for free, and after doing something for 7 years, the chances are it may catch on. So YouTube was technically my first and the only job so far, so let's just hope I'll keep with it. To expand your merch designs, could you hold a merch art contest or competition? I would love to do that, honestly. The problem is that I don't know how many artists we have in our community, but I will tell you, yes, I would absolutely want to do a contest. But the only but, besides my but in this room, is that I would feel like I'm ripping off the artists. You know, if you did something for free for me and I would sell it, I would feel like I'm ripping you off. Even though I have to say, merch is not really making as much money as you would think, so it's pocket money. What's your real name and could you share your age? My real name I would not share, for security purposes, even though if you're like really smart and you know where to look, you could probably find it. But I can share my age, I am 23. What is the worst game in the world and why is it League? Well, it is not League. It is, if I can remember the name, Road Rigs? Rigged Roads? Something like that? That would be a fitting name actually. I remember back in the days when I was watching a lot of Yogscast, when I watched them play this game, that was probably one of the funniest moments I ever watched on YouTube. That is just, I knew nothing about the game, so I was genuinely surprised by what happened when they started reversing. So the worst game is definitely this one. Can we have a full video of your cat or silly things that the cat does? That is something I wanted to do for April Fools actually, I just wanted to do a full video with him, but yes, maybe the next April Fools. How often, if at all, did a comment on your YouTube video post a theory that got you thinking, or helped you advance this theory crafting awesomeness? Usually it's not that someone would come to me with a theory that would break the ice on some more secrets. Usually it is after I post a theory that the comments really help me expand it. For example, if I bring up a theory and someone else is able to disprove something that I said there, it then forces me to find counter-arguments and to prove that my theory is right. And the more you do that, the more the theory solidifies. So that is how comments really affect my theories. Can I gift you flowers? Yes, you can. The P.O. Box is in the description. Also, when will you start learning how to do 3D animations? That is something I wanted to do. I wanted to learn 3D animations simply because making videos would be easier. I could do more cinematic effects and stuff like that. But instead, some of you may know that I tried to get into making a video game, and I actually got really far. I started making my own video game, like a combat platformer. However, the controls started being buggy as I went further and further, so I really need to remake the very core of the game. But yeah, I tried that, so 3D animations will be next. Do you think there is a possibility that Jax has lore associated with the Darkin? He's pretty ancient. After Ikathia and Shurima fell, could he have some more shenanigans with the Darkin? I mean, it is possible. There were the old little teases with like the Darkin appearing in the background of some champions, and Jax was one of them, if that wasn't supposed to be a Noxian armor. But this is actually one of the things that I would love if Riot did. I would absolutely love it if Riot gave Jax a Darkin weapon. I don't think he's wielding it now, or I don't think he's affected by them right now. But it would be amazing if they gave Jax, you know, a master at arms that is really awesome with all the weapons and he's just far too good at combat. If you gave him a Darkin weapon, which is extremely powerful, and he would suddenly be in conflict with the Darkin in that weapon. That would make an incredibly, let's say interesting character. Just imagine if Jax suddenly being the let's say douchebag who can fight anyone, suddenly be in conflict with his own weapon. What a twist that would be. Now that Varus is confirmed to be gay, do you think Riot will confirm Graves and Twisted Fate, knowing they hinted it? I don't think they hinted it that much, and I don't think they will confirm it, because after we released the Varus video, there was a lot of comments that I did not really appreciate mentioning this, because Riot did one very smart and clever thing. First of all, it is technically not Varus who is gay, it is Kai and Val, and Varus has really nothing to do with it. But if you look at all the videos and you read all the stories, you may have noticed that it is not mentioned anywhere. Riot was clever about it and they never shoved it in anyone's face. They never mentioned it in any shape or form, and they never said what their orientation is. So I don't really get why the people are mad. First of all, it is not Varus who is having this orientation, but also they didn't shove it in their face. So what are people complaining about? I don't know. And on that topic, what would really change if things were different? Nothing, it would still be an interesting character. Which weapon in the League lore is your favorite? That would be Rast. I think Rast is the most interesting of the Darkin weapons, because he is basically he was freely roaming around Noxus. People were picking him up and he was consuming their minds, so the next guy picked him up. So this was cycling until Kayn finally picked him up, and that's when the conflict started being real. So Kayn was basically just having fun dominating people's minds and just making them insane. What will happen if Zoe somehow meets Pantheon? Will there be chaos or not? I don't think the aspects are going against each other. I know that Zoe mentioned that she is protecting Aurelian's soul from Pantheon's wrath sometimes, but I don't think there is a major conflict. There are still aspects that somewhat have the same goal, that is, if the aspect of Twilight isn't, filling with someone's minds again. But I think that they have the same goal, they have the same objective, so if they met, they wouldn't do really anything serious to each other. Who do you think needs voice rework in League? Boy, there is a lot of characters. As you said, Lux, yes. Maokai, I don't think he needs such a big revamp. Varus, definitely. Aatrox, definitely. Yordles like Heimerdinger or Ziggs. Then you have someone like Singed, Shaco, Nocturne, Fiddlesticks. There's a lot of champions, and since the strike where the voice actors weren't really working with the developers is over, we can expect a lot more voice reworks. And the last question, in your opinion, which champs deserve a full rework? That is easy, we talked about him, it is Malphite. Not Gale, not Morgana, at least they do something interesting, but Malphite is his ultimate. Malphite is nothing more than the rock that rolls into battle, booms everyone up, bada bim, bada boom, that's all he is. Nothing more, nothing less. He throws one shard to slow you down, ooh, a mechanic that wasn't there before. He punches the ground, and I believe even slows you down too? No, actually that just deals damage. He just punches the ground and deals damage. And slows your attack speed, maybe. And then he has armor. How can Aatrox get a rework and Malphite doesn't? Give me better Malphite. And that's basically it for this Q&A. Thank you all so much for being here and for watching this. I will do another one in about half a year maybe again, if these are popular. I just wanted to do another one because it's been a while. So again, thank you all so much for watching and for being here. Thank you for your support, I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you, come again.